Hey y'all, welcome to Arts and Crafts. Today I'm going to do something I wouldn't normally do. It's something that I've just recently caught on to, and that is glass etching. And I kind of resisted doing it for a long time because, number one, it looks way harder than it is. I'm going to go ahead and scroll in here a little bit. It looks way, way, way harder than it really is. You are going to need a few items. You are going to need some kind of etching cream. I've got Armor Etch here. It's really good. I've heard some people like it, some people don't, but I have not had a problem with it outside of my own mistakes. And you will make some mistakes. Some are okay, some you can live with, and some, well, you'll just go, well, let's try that again. And I've had some both. I did a set of 6 beer steins. And out of the 6, I had 2 that were mistakes, one I could live with, one I couldn't. This is one I couldn't live with. And and you can't see it really unless you're even right here, but my stencil didn't go down between the 2 letters, or between the 2 words, and it etched between them, and it drives me crazy. Everyone else is like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, no, it's not. And the second mistake I did was on a set of wine glasses. I didn't get the band between the snowman's hat and head down all the way, but that one I could live with too. So, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to etch glass. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, yeah, I guess you can. Here, let me find something with color on it to stick in there. There you can see I've already put my stencil on. And I had a bunch of trouble trying to figure out how to use this kind of a stencil. I had gone actually to the craft store and bought a roll of the cheap vinyl, which of course all of you know isn't exactly cheap anyways. It's like the $7 vinyl from Hobby Lobby, and that's what I'd been using because that's what I started with because I have some on hand. And everybody, I'm on a Facebook group called the Silhouette Project Inspiration Facebook group, and everybody's been talking about using the contact paper, and I had so much problems. Well, come to find out, I think my blade isn't right. It's a new blade, but it just, the cut settings are off. But anyways, I finally figured out how to do it. So I'm using, this is an SVG cut file from svgcutting.com or something like that. I will, if you click the information bar below, there's a link to my blog, and in the link to my blog I will give you the link to this cut file because it's a really cool cut file. I have to readjust something though. Okay. And literally I just use some contact. I don't use the contact paper to transfer like some people do. I do actually use transfer paper. I think it's from Cricut, which of course is Provo Crafts. But anyways, spiel over. I'm going to go ahead and start this. This is going to be it's going to be a little bit more broken up because there is waiting times. And I do wait longer than it says on the jar, but I have heard that it's better to wait a little bit longer, so I wait 5 minutes. The jar says wait a minute, so I wait 4 minutes extra, but everything I've done so far has turned out clean. Okay, so you mix well, and I just use this paintbrush to mix just because it's longer and I don't use it for anything else. And then I just use a regular paintbrush to scoop whatever I couldn't scrape off so I'm not wasting much, if any. And then you're just going to start, and I should have actually brought the camera down in front of me or something, but you're just going to start daubing the etching cream onto whatever stencil or design you so choose. And I learned from, it's called the Cameo or Silhouette School or something like that. And that's where I learned how to do this. And she recommends that you do a thick, even coat all the way across. Now, I have figured out that the etching, when you use the contact paper, the etching cream doesn't want to stick to the contact paper, which is fine, but it just kind of, it beads up a little bit on the contact paper, and sometimes it makes it difficult to tell if you've got the etching cream where it needs to be. So I've learned that if I am questioning whether I've got a spot covered the way I want it, there's one of two things you can do. One is you can, of course, just go over it again, because it's not going to hurt to go ahead and just run your brush across it a second time. And another thing you can do is, because you are, of course, working with glass, is you can look from the inside and see the back side of your project, if it's covered or not. So you're just going to, and I know I moved it probably out of your view, but like I said, I'm just making sure I got everybody covered that needs to be covered. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it and peek inside and make sure that everything is covered. Okay, and another thing to be careful of is watch how close you're getting to the edge of your stencil. Because, of course, anything that touches glass is going to etch. Okay, so we're all covered. That's what it looks like. Mine is just going to look like a circle right now. I'm going to go ahead and set my timer. And, oops, stop. Timer. There we go. Set my timer, and I'm going to go wash my brushes. I'm going to go ahead and close my etching cream. Oh, another thing. I didn't talk about it, but you noticed I've got gloves on. You need to make sure you've got gloves on. You do not want to get this etching cream on you or your surface. So I'm going to go ahead and go wash my brushes in warm water with soap, and I will come back when our 5 minutes are up. Okay, guys, it's been 5 minutes. So now we're going to do the next step. And according to the bottle, now is when you would take it and rinse it off. However, that's a huge waste. Massive waste. I did it the first, like, 3 I did. And then, like I said, Silhouette School is where I learned how to do it. And one of her tips for saving money is, of course, to reuse your etching cream. So I go ahead and scrape it off with a clean brush, a clean dry brush, and I just scrape it back in the bottle. Now, Some of you are going, well, if the company tells you. Well, let me put it to you this way. I've started doing this after my second glass etch. And I've done, this is 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's say this is number 8 after I started recycling my etching cream. And I have had 0 problems with it not etching. So, and I don't, sometimes I etch 2 a day, and sometimes it's a week between etching. So it's not like it's not had a chance to sit between. So, okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to move to the rinsing, which means I have to move to the kitchen because that's where I rinse mine. So I'm going to pause you, and I will take the camera and everything to the kitchen, and I will be right back. Okay, guys, we're back, and we're in my kitchen sink. I'm trying to, there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the brush that I use, and I just kind of rinse it a little bit. Okay, now we're going to take our glass, and you can see the etch there, and you're just going to rinse it. And all that etching cream should come off. So you're just going to rinse it off. And there you go. The etching cream is almost all the way, if not all off. Okay, so now you're going to take your stencil off. And so far all of the ones I've done with my contact paper, they come off super duper easy. Like most actually just kind of rinse off and I kick them out of the sink. Okay. Alright, so now we've got everybody, we've got the stencil off. I just grab a little bit of my Dawn dishwashing solution, and you're going to wash it. Just nice and quick, wash over it. I'm going to rinse that, and I'm going to go ahead and wash my paintbrush with some soap. And I go ahead, just in case my scrapey guy here got some on, we're going to rinse him. And that's it. That is your etch. I'm going to go ahead and pause this and take you back to the craft room where you can see the final product. Okay guys, we're back in the craft room and we have our finished mug right here. This was how it turned out. Let's see, now it's dark again. Here we go. So here it is. I did end up going a little over my stencil, or a little bit got under, but it's not too bad. I'm pretty happy with it. This is part of a set that I did for a Christmas present. And here's the other mug. They both have the same design, but one is a positive and one is a negative image. And you can see this one I didn't get lined up very well. But I'm still learning. So I do have a couple pieces of advice when making something like this, particularly when you're doing multiples. And I learned this when I did the beer steins. Advice number 1 is do them all at the same time. I went ahead and I did it assembly line. I put all of the stencils on, and then I went back and I put all etching cream on all of them at the same, well, I think I did, I take that back, I did groups of 3, I think. The wine glasses I did all 4 at the same time. But go ahead and just do multiples together, and all I did was I put etching cream on all of them. When I finished the last one, I started the timer. When the timer went off, I started with the first one. So like say I was doing these at the same time, and this one was the first one, that I put cream on, I would set it over here and then put the second one and so on, so I knew which order I did them. And then I would just go ahead and remove the etching cream in that same order, starting with the first one back. So they all end up with roughly the same time of etching cream on them. So I think that's about it. And make sure you guys wear these. I did end up, the first time I did them, I did get a little bit on my skin, and it does not take long before it starts to burn. So go ahead, whether it's these or whether you had, these are just medical gloves. You can get them in the first aid section. I think they're like $7 for a box of like, wow, 50 to 75 pairs, something like that. They're a bunch, and I use them, like, I don't like touching meat, so I use them for cooking and crafting and all kinds of things. So if you don't have those, get some like dish gloves, something to protect your hands and your skin. As far as protecting my surface, I'm not too worried, because what I have gotten on this surface I've found rather quickly and been able to wipe up. But I just go ahead and grab a paper towel and put the paper towel under it. And when I'm done etching at that particular point, when I finish whatever project I'm working on, I wad it up, making sure that whatever was face up is on the inside, and I throw away and start new. And I know somewhere somebody's going, that's wasteful, but when you're dealing with a chemical like this, you want to go ahead and do it that way. Or get some kind of, I don't know, like a non-stick mat or something that you could wash. That would be okay too. That would probably be more economical than throwing paper towels away. But the paper towel idea was the first one that came to me, so I might pull out my non-stick mat and try it next time. But those are my tips and techniques for glass etching. If you guys haven't tried this, try it. It is awesome. I love it. I got these mugs and the beer mugs at the Dollar Tree. I paid $1 a piece, and I got this bottle through Blitsy, and I paid like $7 for the bottle, but I think shipping's like $5 or $7, which is not economical, because I do live in Illinois and Blitsy is in Chicago. So it's like, I think it's like a 5-hour drive for me to Chicago. So $7. I don't order very often, but I have wanted to do these for Christmas, so I went ahead and bought it, and I'm gonna see if I can find some here in Springfield where I live. But definitely check it out. I am going to stick with the Armor Etch, because I have had a really success with these. I've heard positives and negatives from, I think Martha Stewart's got one, and I know there's an off-brand, but I went ahead and started with the Armor Etch because it's what I had heard of, and I'd heard the name before. If you find an etching cream, don't be afraid to try it. I mean, if it works, great. If it doesn't, don't be afraid to try again. So thanks for stopping by. I hope you guys give glass etching a try, and I'll see y'all next time.